Support.
All present except for Commissioner Kerr, who has received an excused absence.
Support.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Mildred?
Yes.
Simo?
Yes.
Virgil?
Motion to approve the agenda. Aye.
Thank you. I'll be presenting from this chair over here, if that's okay with the commission. So tonight I'm presenting the financials for the month ending January 31st, 2019. I've prepared a memo, as usual, to discuss the main highlights of the revenue and expenditure report and the cash and investment summary report. For the revenue and expenditure report, we are approximately 59% through the current fiscal year. The revenues and expenditures of most of our funds are in line with this benchmark, and some of the major funds with larger variations are noted in the memo. And I'll go through those. Number one, the local street fund. The revenues and expenditures are at 38%. Most of the activity occurs during the winter months, and we've seen an increase in this. The main reason why it's lower than normal is that the budgeted street maintenance projects have not started. With our budgeted projects, we're seeing most of our future projects on the major streets, so we may see a transfer of these budgeted dollars over to the major street fund for those projects, and we'll be discussing that in the next couple of months here. Number two, the 2015 Street Bond Debt Service Fund. The expenditures are at 98%. The majority of this budget is the annual principal payment on the bond, and that was paid in January. And the cemetery fund, the revenues and expenditures are at 42%. Most of this activity occurs during the beginning and end of our fiscal year, and so this will pick up again once we start spring burials. Any questions on the revenue and expenditure report? If not, I'll move on to the cash and investment summary report. Again, this was included in the agenda, and it shows the activity for the month of January. Some notable items are with the 2015 Street Bond Debt Service Fund. Again, we saw a big decrease in that due to the annual principal payment and the semi-annual interest payment. In the EDC revolving loan fund account, this balance decreased due to the transfer of funds to Northern Initiatives. This was the $70,000 that was received to pay off the Estola loan. That money has now been transferred to Northern Initiatives to be then loaned out for future projects. And the water and sewer bond redemption and reserve accounts, these account balances increased due to the required quarterly transfers into these accounts. We also made a semi-annual interest payments on our 2010 bonds and 2017 bonds, showing a slight decrease in those. Those were some smaller interest payments, but they went up overall due to the required transfers. Are there any questions on the cash investment summary report?
Good morning, place on file, report. Support.
Thank you. And the check register for the month of January was included in the agenda packet. And if there's any questions on any of the checks, I can address those now.
Motion to approve the monthly.
Mildred?
Yes.
Simo?
Yes.
Corcoran?
Yes.
Virgil?
Thank you. Again, the city has been the recipient of the grant money for some residential removal of blighted properties, and we're anticipating around 10 properties. Hopefully, we can get removed or demolished under this grant. So, with your authorization, we'll finish up the bid specs and get prepared to go out for bids for those residential demolitions. We've also included 238 East Air Street. That's the property on Air Street that fell down here a couple weeks ago through the snow load. And at this point, we aren't the owner of the building. We're in contact with the owner. So we have applied for a grant, hopefully to help with the cost of that demolition. Now, it was just coincidence that the grant was due like the day or two after the building fell down. So we did submit that. We are hoping to hear later this week if we're eligible for the grant. If we are, then we want employees to go out to bid. Now, if we don't get the grant, then we're back to trying to figure out how to get that building removed. It is still under like the private ownership. But if we are successful with the grant, that can help offset a lot of those costs.
Motion to authorize two grant out for bids. Item as itemized. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ewing, second by Commissioner Sino to authorize we have a list of potential projects.
We do. We have actually a fairly long list. We have more than the number that we take down. We're working with various property owners. The county, actually, some are going through tax foreclosure. So I think it's by March.
By March
31st, we'll know for sure if those have stayed in foreclosure or if the property owner has paid with taxes. A couple of those are on the list. So it's a little bit of a list that's in flux right now, but we probably have an excess of how many on the overall list? 20 or so, and we've narrowed it down to like the 10 or 12 that we feel are the most advantageous to use the grant money to take down. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Hello, this is Paul Anderson with Home Engineering. Justin and Jay came together, so in the pay package that was approved at the end of January, I had made a mistake and overbilled one of our building categories, and so that item went over budget and was not our intent. So discussing it with Rural Development and the best way to handle this was to rescind that approval of that pay package and then approve the new package and then pay with the lesser amount. My apologies for that mistake. And this is what $1,200 is those two items. So that is the explanation of why we're for the approval of the January 28th and approve the new package at the lesser amount.
motion to rescind the approval of the rural development sewer pay package is discussed.
Motion by Commissioner Morgan, second by Commissioner Parkman, for two sentences, for the early reference to the pay package. Roll call vote, please.
Semo,
Yes.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Mildred,
Yes.
Burchell.
Yes. Item 10, consider approval of early reference to the pay package.
Once again, motion to approve the rural development pay package for the mall district and the item 5 hearing.
Motion by Commissioner Morgan, second by Commissioner Parkman, to approve the early reference to the package. Containing amount of first reading and paid.
Curious how the errors will be.
When we were, doing the tracking of we have a form called the 402, which is basically a checkbook register, and, we're entering it in there. I think we got, item was over budget, so I had missed an invoice that was previously billed in my track. That's all.
Any questions? Roll call vote, please.
Corcoran,
Yes.
Mildred,
Yes.
Semo,
Yes.
Burchell.
And, discussion consider awarding bids for the water meter reading.
Thank you. We have had a water meter reading contract in place for a number of years. Our previous meter reader, their contract has been fulfilled. She wasn't able to fully finish the contract. So we did go up for bids. As you see, we did have two individuals bid it, and the low bidder was Red Construction. They've had the contract in the past and did a very good job for the city. So we expect that to occur again. And again, they're at 97 cents per meter read. So we do it that way. So every meter they read, then they get reimbursed for the effort to do that. So we are recommending awarding the meter reading contract to Red Construction.
I'll make a motion to award meter reading contract for the construction.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Parkman, second by Commissioner Morgan, to award the water meter reading contract for the construction. Any other questions, comments?
Just wonder how this compares to.
The previous contract with Little Bear, it was in this ballpark. I think they originally, I don't have the exact number. I can get that for you. But this is a little bit higher than the previous one, but a few cents, I believe.
It was interesting to me on the left side of my house, you see a half dollar for the meter reader.
Mm-hmm.
But a new person came from the other side of my house, and they walked about 150 feet away from snow. I ran out there, but by the time I ran out, it was too late. But now they know.
Yeah. They'll learn in the new meter reader. It takes a cycle or two for them to really get to know, their pattern and what works best for them.
And the more consequences that we use to see versus converting to digital.
Right. Yeah. We have looked into a full digital system.
You could go to like a satellite system, but it would be about $800,000. Now, that's a lot of money up front, you don't apply for a grant, but in the long run, the satellite system is easy.
And we have put in a number of, so it's gotten more efficient with the touchpad system that we have.
Well, we're even at radio units where we can't install a touchpad, but we can do probably a block away. We might have 100 radio units now, which is really nice. But that's part of your satellite system. But the touchpad system is really nice.
So right now, it's probably the most cost effective way at this point in time.
Mildred,
Yes.
Semo,
Yes.
Corcoran, Burchell.
Thank you. Just a few items to touch on. Earlier this evening, the planning commission had a special meeting, to talk about and look at the Wapaka Foundry site plan. And it was public hearing, so they did that. Just to relay, the planning commission did approve the site plan. They had a few little housekeeping items they wanted included with it. So Wapaka Foundry is moving forward with their expansion of their facility over there. They'll build out the existing building that is there and then expand again further to the east with some additional building additions. They are moving forward. They are looking at opening up this summer for operation. They currently have, I think I heard a number of 42, I think roughly 41 or 42 people that are in the area that are currently, they're getting bused down to Wapaka, working down there, and then when this opens, they'll be able to relocate back up here and enter into those jobs training. So nice to see they're moving forward. They have some tight time frames on getting the building in operation. With the past couple of recent snow events, that's been a big part of city operations, is snow removal, just like everybody in their house. It's a big part of, what we've been doing the last few weeks. With that, I think Bob has come up, they're coming up with a plan on what are they going to do over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks to catch up on the snow. So Bob is going to give you an update on that.
There's no plan. Mostly, the guys that on flight early. Of course, there are some interesting spots where people leave their cars parked too far off the road, which makes it a little bit of hellacious on people falling. But what we want to do is it's all kind of the water break and or whatever. We want to pull the highway Wednesday or Thursday and Friday. The next couple of days, we have equipment that we have to repair our trips. And we're going to try to get some talent. And talents are probably one of the hardest jobs for a person to follow. People have left some of their vehicles too close to the ultimate side of the and people have to understand that sometimes it seems like they're getting more snow than the other side. There's no ill intent on this at all. It's simply not what they're just on that side of the road. And a lot of times we'll be called about, again, they have more snow than the other side. Well, there's a lot of people that are putting snow across the street, so they're helping out their neighbors like they get their snow. So it's not a good thing to do, but other than that, we want to get as much snow pulled again. We have pulled Douglas, we pulled Lowell, we pulled Lake Street. It doesn't look like it anymore, but that's our intention to pulling snow. And as the snow keeps coming off, go with the process. If there's any questions on the interesting situation like that.
I just this snow storm in particular, there's nothing harder than moving drifted snow. And if the snow blower, a truck, or a plow, shovel, it's like hitting a concrete wall sometimes. So when you see the city workers going through those steps, getting our roads back, drive along them, it's a great thing. It's harder to do, and we appreciate them more than
we have a pretty darn experienced crew. Even though when it's real windy like that, even in high very quick, it's very difficult for them. And if you live on a corner like I do, you really look like you're falling right now. It's been all snow on the corner. And but otherwise, I think that we've been doing the best on the circumstances for the last 3 weeks. And like I said, we have plans, but they can be changed by a water main break, freeze up, and or one of our meetings.
And maybe just to add, we have authorized some additional overtime. So how does it get caught up? So probably a few hours on some shifts. That's the top up.
That's true. And in this situation we had last week, they don't have to get the road being sold on now. People have to be careful because we can't get there really 2 miles of the road, I believe. Not including the town, so we have to bear with us. Or any community in our area, bear with us.
This crew is designed to pushing forward and following all 2 people.
Yes, and again, some people could get a lot more snow, it might be because of the it doesn't grow. Bear with it. People like winter, so that'll be a great thing. But we're doing the best we can.
So on the big lighting and direct time.
Yep. And that's another thing that I think people have said, it's called benching. We take passes, snowing, and push it back. Well, a person may have did the driveway 2 days prior. Well, there's a lot of snow on top of that big pile. And in many cases, there's chunks that fall off. I apologize, we can't get over there on time to get chunk out of there. And you would have to find a contractor and or someone else. Because we're not doing it on purpose. So it's not a problem.
This is really some tough.
It is. I don't, and plus I don't think that we're used to the last 4 years. It's become a staggered period, and at this point, it's been looking pretty weak. So the residents aren't happy. We're not happy, and so we're doing the best.
Just a couple of other items to touch on. Just a reminder, this Friday is a first Friday for March. So if you can get downtown, they're going to have the Craft Your North is the theme. And they'll have crafters, artisans. The downtown business will be open from 5 to 7. And then at 7 p.m. also the Historic Annual Theater is going to have a show, the ET Extraterrestrial show, I guess, the old one at 7 p.m. So come on down and support the downtown businesses. We're also starting the budget process, so we'll be having some workshops coming up, things like that, over the next few months. So it's quite an intensive process, so Paul's getting us started on that here very soon. We'll be talking to the City Commission about our first meeting, the date to kick off. We do a goal setting, or look at our goals and we amend them or add to them. Just timing on that first meeting, I'll send out an email to you and kind of see how that can best work with our schedule. You know, we're trying to get that. We do want all the commissioners there if possible. So. And this past weekend, on Saturday actually, there's a group of individuals that are working on behalf of the Trail Authority actually, the Friends of the Trail, and there's a subgroup of that are working with this bike that's called a duet bicycle. I don't know if you remember seeing that. It's a bicycle with the wheelchair in front. So they had training here at the Memorial Building on Saturday. They had, I think, 13 or 14 people that showed up that are getting trained in to be pedalers or pilots. And then they're looking at getting that bicycle out more this summer. People with disabilities, people that can't get out on the trail, can't get out and enjoy it like a lot of us can. So again, if anybody's interested, let me know. I'll pass you on to that group. They're very energetic. Looking forward to doing more of that this summer. I think they had 4 or 5 activities last summer where they went to nursing homes and got some of the residents out. And that was kind of their trial years. Now they're ready to ramp it up and try to get out more. It's going to be through, we have a coordinator, Doug Hippie is the coordinator, so he's going to help manage all that. He's going to try to set up some type of calendar that we can direct people to. Right now it's really on an organized basis, so we'll go to a facility and help. Get their help with that. They're actually looking at this year on doing a couple of stage ones where we'll get notice out through newspapers, through social media. Probably have one day to set up at Depot, maybe one day in Bessemer and one day in Wakefield, where people can bring their family members out if someone wanted to experience that. So, not quite as flexible. I mean, if one of the pilots was able to, you have to be comfortable to ride the bike. It's a little different. We're not quite at that point yet, but hopefully we get to that where we have enough pilots that you can call someone, be able to individually maybe work with people too. Yep. And that's the end of the report.
Hang on.
Yeah. And the other thing is my teacher.
We're still on right now? You want to stop this?